So here we are again, and Bernie Sanders is being attacked on the issue of guns, this time on the Sandy Hook massacre. Now, recently, Bernie Sanders had an interview with the New York Daily News editorial board. In that interview, Bernie Sanders stated that the manufacturers of guns shouldn't be sued for these mass shootings. So the onslaught began right after that. The New York Daily News cover, there it is right there, Bernie's Sandy Hook shame. Callously defends gun makers against Newtown Ken lawsuit. The principal's daughter the daughter of the principal that was killed in that attack, she said that Bernie Sanders owes the families of the victims, quote, an apology for putting the gun lobby above our families. Also, a Hillary Clinton supporter tweeted about Bernie Sanders, shame on you. So we're going to analyze if Bernie Sanders is wrong on his position and should he feel some kind of shame about what he said. So this all stems from a lawsuit from the families of the victims against the manufacturer of the weapon, a semi-automatic weapon. And they're alleging that these semi-automatic weapons should have never been made legal for regular citizens. Okay, so that's where I can't get there. I can't support that argument. Okay, so we can talk about gun reform, universal background checks, which I support, or banning semi-automatic weapons. We can talk about that, but that's not really the subject here, because the manufacturers of these weapons, they're selling a legal product, and citizens have the right to buy that product legally. Okay, so what we're dealing with is, should the manufacturers of a legal product be able to be sued because the result was tragic? And that's why I just can't get there, because this, in this case, you can replace the gun with anything. I can talk about a fork. Let's say I stabbed 10 people with a fork and killed them. Nobody's going to be talking about, suing the manufacturers of the fork. If I mow down however many people on a city block with my vehicle, nobody's going to be going after the manufacturer of that vehicle. And let's talk about police officers that use their weapon against unarmed citizens. Now, we want justice. We want that police officer to go to jail and be prosecuted. But nobody talks about the weapon that he used. Nobody talks about, let's go after the manufacturer of that Glock. Nobody says that. And so that's reasonable, because if it's legal, how can you go after the manufacturer of that product? So again, we can talk about what should be done in the country to curb this violence, these mass killings. We can talk about that, but that's not really a related issue. Now, I remember on an episode of Law and Order, you probably remember this too. Law and Order is very popular. But there was a case, and I know this is TV, but it's kind of relevant. So there was a case where they went after a gun manufacturer because the gun that they were manufacturing was easily changed to a fully automatic weapon. It was there was instructions online. You could just do it very easily. The manufacturer knew about it. They knew that they could do something about it, but they chose not to because it would just impact their profits. Now, that's negligence. Now, if this was real life, I'd say definitely go after that manufacturer, because they knew about the problem. They chose not to do anything about it, which would have been safer, because they just wanted to keep their profits the same. So I totally agree with an instance like that. But that's not what happened here. A legal product was made and sold and used in a heinous way. I just can't get there that the makers of that product should be sued. So what I believe should happen is we should be going after who's actually responsible for this. If you're one that believes that these weapons should not be in the hands of regular citizens, guess who made that possible? That would be Congress. So if you want to blame anybody, that's a good start, not Bernie Sanders.